Welcome back, everyone, to week 36. Just a brief update this week on what's going on, what I see, what I'm looking for, and what I just have no idea about. So let's get into it. So, again, this week, we had trade talk rages on the economy. Well, there was actually some decent numbers this week. Not that makes a trend or changes much in terms of general direction. But we are looking like it's going to be 25 basis point cut coming up and not 50. So that's interesting. I was never really super expecting the 50, but it was, I suppose, a possibility. And even the 25 hasn't happened yet, so we'll have to see what happens. The Fed generally does not like shocking the market, and the market is saying that the Fed, well, is telling the Fed that it will cut 25, so it looks like that's what will happen. And in the meantime, in this holiday week, stocks at record highs. So obviously, the impetus for more buybacks and the more ability to lever up and buy back shares has outweighed the potential for economic weakness that comes with a rate cut. Now, I know that there are some theories out there about global funding, a global US dollar shortage that I'm not going to get into in depth here. There's a lot that could be said about that, and I'll say a bit more when I talk about gold, which will be right now. So, as I was saying, gold, chaotic week. If you look at the miners and you look at a 1 week chart, it looks like one scary roller coaster, gaps all over the place. There was appointments, is this person bullish for gold? Well, this person's many months away from maybe ever being able to do nothing. The point is, the action that I'm seeing in gold is despite it still being immensely overbought and it being a hedge for a hedge sake, there is a lot of dip buying for the time in gold. Every pullback is being bought, um, which is potentially a bullish sign. And you know what? It's consolidated off of its recent run up, which again, bullish sign. But am I saying it's going higher? No, the gold equities I own, I'm fine with this price of gold and much better at higher prices of gold. But for the time being, I said a while ago that I'm not convinced it was going higher, and it has. I so I haven't been on that call, but I said eventually I think it'll go higher. Now I don't know if now is eventually or if later is eventually. I can't tell you that. The market can tell you that. Um, well, eventually or not. You never know. So we'll have to keep watching and we'll have to keep seeing if eventually gold will figure things out or if people will want gold again because for a long time people haven't really cared. And we'll see if they begin caring again. So that's my mini gold rant. Aside from the only other thing I was going to say on that was okay, so the theory about US dollar shortage causing strength in the US dollar and thus weakness in gold. Okay, it's a good theory. I like it. It makes sense in terms of strength in the US dollar from a macro argument, the world short on dollars. Okay. The flip side that I can't get over in my head is if the Fed is going to be fighting this strength in US dollars by weakening the dollar, even if that doesn't work, then theor even if that doesn't work relative to other currencies, weakening the dollar relative to gold, is that still going to be bearish for the price of gold and bullish for the dollar? That that I don't know. If you're going to be cutting rates and if you're going to assume that gold is a neutral currency or money, well then weakening the currency of the US dollar against gold in the hopes that it will weaken it against other currencies, I still don't know that that causes the price of gold in US dollars to go down, but it could. And in uranium. Okay, well, there were a few odd things that happened last week. There were some stocks that just jumped on nothing really, which is interesting. I don't know if that's the market anticipating some resumption post 232, which is, by the way, only 1 week away at this point, and that is what a number of people, myself included, have been thinking would happen with regards to uranium. Now, I don't know that it will necessarily be a snap of the fingers, 232 resolved, and boom. I think there's probably going to be some type of delay while people figure out what's going on and while the utilities discuss and like, okay, how are we going to do this? How are we going to contract this and move forward? But the move in the equities was kind of startling on some of them, and some of them just haven't moved. But if you look last week, I'm looking at my sheet here, there were a few that just, well, if you have them in your portfolio and you check regularly, you probably know which ones I'm talking about, but a few just jumped. And we'll have to see if that continues and if that spreads and what that looks like going forward. But for now, it's just optimism. It's pricing in what some people think will happen, and we'll see if we're right, they're right, or if we're wrong. It's always possible. So these past few weeks, while slowly trying to patiently add to the uranium position, I've been thinking about what's next? What could be next after 232 if it moves or if it doesn't? Because even if it doesn't, I think that might be a an indicator potentially that the market's going to take more time, and so that there is more time for uranium and other things. But my main thought was if uranium does move, what might be next? What other areas would be warranting of money either soon or right away? So I have been taking a more of a look around in terms of what other sectors are cheap and what could be potentially getting cheaper if my view is rolls out in a way that I think it may. And so what looks really cheap, although seems to be anticipating potential economic issues, is in a variety of industrial metals and juniors and producers really in terms of they don't seem different sectors have different issues here, but like lack of investment is the prevalent theme. So I'm looking around at different industrial metals and trying to pick out um, a few stocks in each that are interesting, that are cheap, and that if they continue to get cheaper, I might buy more. And so that is where I have been um, placing much of my time that I've been spent looking at stocks recently. Of course, I've still been watching the other things, but where I've had time, that's where I've started looking different things, copper, lithium, steel, number of things really, and I'm narrowing it down what I don't want to see, what type of thesis makes sense. So that's just I'll talk more about that later. This is kind of went on longer, but just thinking about what could be next. And you know what? You won't catch everything. I won't catch everything. No one will catch everything. And I'm okay missing things. If I'm wrong, if things get really good in a hurry, I might miss a number of opportunities. But this is just what I'm watching to see what could happen, how to be ready for that. Now, as I give the three picks for this week, I just am in one of those moods where I feel inclined to remind that obviously I don't buy every week at a given time or given date, given number of stocks, because that doesn't make sense to me, at least, and it leads to disorganized, unbalanced portfolios like what we have here, because forcibly buying is. Anyway, so the three picks for this week, and because we have 1 week before 232, and I think that's when uranium probably will begin to close down this buying opportunity, but maybe not. Anyway, Laramide, Bannerman, and NextGen, a good mix of US, Australia, Namibia, and Canada, all will be added to the uranium portfolio, and I will add those in to the complete update next week. I rambled a lot today, and I'm sorry about that, but I hope something piqued your interest this week or got you thinking of something, or maybe you want to see the old format, and either way, let me know. In a bit of a rambly mood, but feel free to shoot me a comment and tell me, hey, do it the other way, or no, this is interesting, or a good change, or whatever. But anyway, to everyone, thanks for watching and have a great day. I really hope this week have a bit of time to do some non-weekly videos, some like additional. I'll try and do that hopefully Tuesday or Wednesday. But until then, have a great day, everyone. Enjoy your week. As always, everyone, please do your own research before making any investment decisions. This channel shall not be liable for any losses incurred from investment decisions made as a result of information obtained on this channel. Good luck with your investments. I'll catch you next time.